So in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the quickest cards you can go and flip in the Centurion market crash. So just before the video does start, a quick little ad on a trading service I offer over on Twitch for the cheapest trading guides out there for just £4, €4, all free with Amazon Prime. You'll receive daily trading and investing guides covering PlayStation, Xbox and PC with an array of methods covering all budgets. And I've been trading for over 10 years, making over 100 million in multiple different FIFAs, and now for the last 4 years I've made 10 million coins in just the first month. So in today's video, what we're going to be doing is talking about some of the quickest cards you guys can flip in the Centurion market crash. Basically, you can go and buy cards and sell them in about 48 to 72 hours time and make some very, very good profits. So without further ado, let's go and talk about the trend. So the trend that we are going to be talking about is investing in the likes of Team of the Weeks. Now the more relevant part of this is that we're going to be investing in Team of the Weeks during the first week of a promo. Now we did try and do this last week and it was very, very mixed results, but that's because it was the second week of Trailblazers, and because it was the second week of Trailblazers, we didn't quite see as much concentration of packs being opened at the same time, as well as an influx of coins. So as a result, hopefully this week it should work a lot better. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the trend, and then we're going to go and walk through the sort of investments you're going to buy, and then talk about when we're going to sell them. So the trend is basically buying meta Team of the Weeks and high-rated fodder Team of the Weeks, basically on the Friday, and then you're going to go and sell them on the likes of the Monday, Tuesday. So basically a really nice kind of like 72-hour flip, and there are really big profits, like 30-40% profit. At the same time, you can generally use some of the top tier cards. So let's go and show you this trend occurring with a bunch of the players from 2 weeks ago. Now the relevance of 2 weeks ago is last week it was week 2 of a promo. Obviously during week 2 of a promo, especially when the team's pretty rubbish compared to week 1, you're not seeing a lot of people saving packs. You're seeing a lot of people opening packs during week 1, and then for week 2 it kind of just continuous from week 1, but there weren't as many saved packs. And as a result, we kind of see different trends as we did last week. So we're going to go through the meta players now. We got Sterling. Now Sterling didn't perform too well. He did go down to 60k on the likes of the Saturday, and then rebound up to about 66k, which was an okay profit on him. Now then we get to the likes of Valverde. Valverde went down, well, he did actually get the cheapest on the Friday, but again, it's the hour-to-hour cheapest. But then it was cheap Saturday, Sunday, and had a really good rise going into the Wednesday. We then get the likes of Romero again. We can see right here, the cheapest on the Saturday, but then had a really nice rise there going into the next week. We then had the likes of Olivier Giroud. Again, did get down to, I think it was about 14k, then rebound up to about 18k. Then we get the likes of Kingsley Coman, who's been amazing out of packs, but Coman did get down to the likes of, I think it was 140, and then by the Thursday, Friday, he got up to 169. And then we got the likes of Milinkovic-Savic, who again got down to the likes of 23, I think it was, and then rebounded up to 33. Now, the nice thing about this sort of trend is that, yes, you can flip these cards in about 48 to 72 hours, but basically, because we're going into a week 2 of this promo, there shouldn't really be much panic selling going into week 2. There's a lot more panic selling on the weekend of, and the week going into a team 1. This is because it's a new promo, it's a new concept. You've got a lot of people panic selling, you don't know what's going on. Are there going to be players in the promo team that replace players in their team? The SBC card's going to be amazing, and again, because there's a lot more uncertainty going into week 1 of a promo, what is quite nice is, although again you can sell them into 48 to 72 hours, the team of the week will basically rise going into Friday, because the whole market will basically drop till Sunday/Saturday and then rebound going into Friday. So let's go and talk about the current team of the week and see what we have to work with. Now we've got a few things to work with. I think we had more to work with 2 weeks ago, but yeah, there are some very popular players. So obviously, let's talk about weekly demanded players first. We got the likes of Frimpong, we got the likes of Openda, we got the likes of Goretzka, we got the likes of Griezmann. Now, if we go to PGP, which is the way how we basically see how often someone is being used, we can go to version, we can go to Team of the Week 6, and we can click on games. So the most used Team of the Week from the current Team of the Week, I don't think it should really be much of a surprise, is the likes of Frimpong. The second most is Openda, the third most is Goretzka, then we got Griezmann, and Politano actually has slight weekly demand. Not amazing, bear in mind he's only 14k, but slight weekly demand. And then what we're looking at is we're then looking at the likes of Fodder. We get to the likes of SBC Fodder, who is the likes of Barnes, who is the likes of Aniyomi, who is the likes of Luis Alberto, and for some reason they haven't put him on there, is the likes of Politano. Now, there are slightly different buy trends to the individual players, so what I'll do right now is I'll go through the buy trends, starting off with the very expensive meta cards. So luckily enough, I actually did cover the Team of the Week trends last week, so I actually do have the hour by hour data, despite FUT not showing it this late. So basically what happened with the very top end cards is because everyone was anticipating such a market drop, we basically saw about a 10 to 15% drop before people started even opening packs. Which meant that the likes of Valverde, who was previously 790k, no more than basically a few hours prior to this, dropped all the way down here to the likes of 670k and then potentially even cheaper. Which means that if we go and see the likes of Griezmann, let's say all day he's going for the best part of about 700k, and then we see him go down to, let's say he's going for about 700k all day. And then we see him dropping down to about 6:30 going into 6 PM. That, as a result, would be a good buy. But if he doesn't drop going into around about 6:30 going into 6 PM, what we can do is we can wait for a drop after 6 PM. The only problem is, after Friday, the cards are unlikely to be the cheapest. And this is basically just a consistent trend with the first week of the promos. Here is the likes of Son from RTK Team Week 1, and we can see he was the cheapest on Friday, and then only rose out of packs. I don't think there's anyone overly expensive. I guess we can maybe do this trend with Cancelo as well. If we look at Cancelo, we can see again he's the cheapest here with Friday. Yes, he holds his price between Friday and Saturday, but because he would have dropped from a high price on Friday, and then it was the same price on Saturday, it basically means there would have been a lower hourly average on the Friday than there would have been the Saturday, and we can see him rise. So the consistent trend with any expensive meta players is that they are either cheap before Friday 6 PM, and again that's them dropping 10% from what they're kind of averaging earlier in the day, or what you might get is you might get a little bit of a buy around about half an hour. I'd say maybe not even that, like 10 minutes to half an hour after 6 PM. But more likely than not, the likes of Griezmann is going to be a buy before 6 PM, presuming he drops 10%. The likes of Goretzka is going to be a buy before 6 PM. And we can do this trend with the mid-tier players as well. I mean, arguably these are some of high-tier players. We see the likes of Coman. Again, now it does say that he was the cheapest on the Saturday, but I know for sure that he was the cheapest on Friday just before 6 PM or after 6 PM. I think he dropped down to about 140, and then I imagine he would have rebounded a bit more. We then get to the likes of Sterling. Again, we can see Saturday, but I do know for sure that his hourly cheapest was on Friday. And then we look at the Team 2, which again was the first week of RTKs. We can see that Kante, there was a little bit cheaper on the Saturday, so I'd imagine players who are about under 100k. So if we go back to this week, we're only really looking at Openda following this trend. I'd imagine Frimpong won't. And that is that these cards were cheaper after 6 PM. And then there was another buy point on Saturday, midday. But like I say, for the likes of Griezmann, Goretzka and Frimpong, what we're looking for is we're looking for a 10% drop from what they've been averaging today, either going into 6 PM. If not, we should see that 10% drop anywhere from about 6 to maybe 20 past 6. So what I would be aware of is what I was kind of showing you earlier with kind of spikes, because right now Griezmann's completely spiked to 750. We can see that he was going for 700 here, 700 here. We got 720s here. We can see that he was even down at 670 there. But what I would do is I'd take him basically going for about 700. I wouldn't take him on a spike. I mean, if we look at the daily average of yesterday, we can see he was about 700. So I'd happily take 700 as his, price he's averaging going for. And then I'd look at buying him for 630 and below. If we do the same here with Goretzka, we can do the same thing. We can see right here he's 240. He seems to be averaging about 240 average today. Yeah, he goes up and down. So what I would do is I'd probably take him for about 235. So you want to get that 10% cheaper. So you're looking around about 210 or below on the likes of Goretzka. We then do the same with Frimpong, averaging 140 yesterday. His average is a little bit all over the shop today. I'd probably say he's averaging maybe about 135. So again, we're looking 10% cheaper. So 120, I'd imagine, would be the buy on the likes of Frimpong. Now, Penda's a little bit more ropey because he's holding his value a lot less. If we look at his price yesterday, we see he went here from around about 80k down to 65k. So because he's holding his value a lot less, there's basically a high chance his buy will be on Saturday. When will his buy be on Saturday? It'll probably be anywhere from about midday to about 3 PM if we look at the normal trends. Sometimes it can be going into 6 PM with a bit of panic selling. But yeah, the likes of Openda, I'd favour buying on the Saturday, just because he's a lot cheaper and he's holding his value a lot less. The previous 3 players, Frimpong, Goretzka and Griezmann, all have been holding their value for the last 24 hours, whereas Openda has been, well, he showed that basically with an increase in supply yesterday, he's gone down in price, whereas Goretzka and Frimpong and Griezmann, when there was an increase with marquee matchups, we didn't see them drop whatsoever. So again, Openda would be more favourable to go and buy Saturday midday to about 3 PM. And talking about risky stuff, now what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the Fodder. Now, what is quite interesting is if I can go and grab the Team of the Week 4, Romero was Fodder, Giroud was Fodder, and Milinkovic-Savic was Fodder. And all these players were cheapest on the likes of the Friday. They're all cheapest around about 1 to 3 hours after 6 PM. Now, the reason that these guys have different trends is because these are only bought on command. Basically, meta cards are bought all the time, right? People are using them for their teams. But Fodder's only really bought on command, which means if people don't want Fodder, people aren't really going to be buying Fodder, or Team of the Week Fodder. Which means if there's nothing good after 6 PM on Friday, people aren't buying these cards, which means they can drop and drop and drop with promo packs. And that's what happens. They're basically cheapest between about 7 PM and 10 PM. And then what they do is they basically don't hit those all-time lows whatsoever, unless EA completely ignore needing informed Fodder. So the likes of Barnes, the likes of Politano, the likes of Luis Alberto, and the likes of Ayomi. I mean, Ayomi is near hitting discard at the moment. And again, Ayomi is an amazing investment because for there to be 83 informs, you've got to be a base 80 rated card. But to get an 84 rated inform, you can be a 81 rated card, you can be an 82 rated card. And then there's plenty of different ratings that can get a featured sort of Team of the Week. But yeah, if I'm not wrong, she is an 81 rated card. Because there's a lot more 81s and 82s in this game, rather than 80s, it's a lot harder to get 83 rated informs. Which is the reason why we've only had one 80 rated inform who's a SBC fodder this year, whereas we've had, I imagine, countless 84s. If we can go to this. Yeah, I guess we had Goncalo Ramos. Whereas the 84s we had Barnes, Otamendi, Politano, Giroud, Alderweireld, Talisca, don't think Talas was. Romero got down to Fodder. I'm not too sure about Mkhitaryan, but it's a lot easier to get 84s than it is to get 83s when it comes to the likes of Fodder. So, yeah, likes of Ayomi at discard is very nice, because basically she can go up to the price of the 84s. But yeah, Ayomi, Luis Alberto, Barnes, and the likes of Politano. We're going to look at buying them anywhere from about 7 PM to 10 PM. It won't really make much of a difference. So you can track them dropping from 7 PM, or you can just buy them 7 PM, or wait 2 more hours and buy them at 10 again. There really won't be much of a difference if I cast my memory back to how Milinkovic-Savic, Romero, and Giroud were last week. When are you going to go and sell these cards? Now, the meta cards you can go and sell all the way through to next Friday, just because we don't really anticipate any market crash when we go into week 2 of a promo, because we kind of know everything that's going to come. With the Fodder, it's quite an interesting play. Basically, you can wait till Wednesday, and then you can see what fodder we have next week. For example, if we don't have an 83 rated inform, or if we don't have any discard 84 rated informs, if we don't have any discard informs up to 85 rated, these guys can do really well out of packs, like we've seen in previous weeks. But if they are heavily inflated, and on Wednesday we do have a few 84 rated informs, I'd recommend selling. You can sell with the news of who's in the Team of the Week, or if you want to play it safe, you can just sell after 6 PM on Wednesday. But I'd say that's about all she wrote with the likes of Team Week Fodder, and Team Week, in general. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.